Welcome back to 556 Media. In this video, we're talking about preparing for a storm. All kinds of storms. Let's get into it. In this video, we're not going to get into personal protection. I've done several videos on EDC or everyday carry. There's tons of them out there. You should include that in your personal preparedness kits. So there's my Smurf blaster. Hope that helps. Whether your preference is a firearm, knife, baseball bat, a piece of lumber, whatever you choose to do, just review EDC everyday carry and combine that with your emergency preparedness kit. All right, we're out here in the garage and I'm just showing you three different platforms of power backup that you should have. And the first, we'll start out with your little mini power supply, rechargeable power supply for cell phones, laptops, things like that. You have to maintain these things. You have to use them, drain them, recharge them fully to maintain their battery capacity. But I've used this thing many times and others like them. They're great to have on hand just to recharge your cell phone in case you have no power, or power your laptop, and just small electrical products. The second one we'll go into, this is the EcoFlow River, and this will power not only what I just described, your cell phones, laptops, things like that. This will also power small household electrical appliances for an extended period of time. Now, generally speaking, these things can be expensive, but they do work. And again, just like the previous little power supply unit, you need to maintain these things, make sure they're charged. Don't keep charging them. You'll drain the battery or make the battery unusable. But this has 12 volt USB, 110 AC. It's got all kinds of things. I don't know why they put a flashlight on everything like this, because I won't need a flashlight, but that's for another point in this discussion. But the EcoFlow River. So a little portable power station, power heater, your microwave, whatever you need in an emergency when you have no power. All right, last but not least, obviously seen it. So we have a full-blown gas generator. And this thing will power pretty much anything in your house up to a certain extent. This is rated at 6,300 watts. However, don't rely on that. Always assume it's going to be lower. This has both an electric and a manual start, so a pull string. In this case, either one works. You can use your regular extension cords. Just remember, don't run this thing in your house or garage. It creates toxic fumes, so leave it outside and run your extension cords inside the house, whether it's through a garage door, standard door, whatever you got to do. Don't let this thing run in your house. But the fumes will kill you, trust me, because it's called carbon monoxide poisoning. So yeah, that'll kill you. But that's the mother of all power backups, other than the two small ones I just showed you, but good to have. All right, still in the garage. This thing that you see is a 55-gallon drum of water. And yes, it's chemically treated to attempt to preserve it. However, never attempt to assume it's potable, meaning you can drink it right out of there or cook with it. You should always boil it using heat. And we'll get into the heat part and fire part momentarily. This is a 55-gallon drum, and it does require a pump system, a hand pump system. So it's a mechanical pump system, doesn't require electricity to get the water out of there. Got a little wrench with it, the plug. One thing you can do, which is very important, is you buy soda at your grocery store. come in these big bottles. Well, when you're done with them, they're reusable. Rinse them out, clean them out, fill them with water, store them in a cool, dry place like your basement. And a lot of people don't realize that if your incoming water supply, your sewer water or public water is not coming into your house, you can refill your toilet in the tank with these bottles. Toilets are gravity fed. Refill it. You may not have incoming water, but you will have outgoing water. So keep a lot of these old soda bottles full of water on hand to keep your toilets ready. So just a tip. Just a tip. All right, for all the hungry people in the crowd watching, yeah, food, pretty critical. So on the right, you can see canned food. On the left, you can see a military grade MRE, or meal ready to eat. So both are great, very shelf stable, both last a long time. Meals ready to eat generally lasts 5 years per their inspection date, mostly a lot longer than that. I've seen people eat them that were almost 100 years old. But anyway, canned foods, meals ready to eat. Canned foods, meals ready to eat. I don't have to say more, other than if you're into pressure cooking and you want to store corn and vegetables and whatever else, you can do pressure cooking to add to this. But MREs, meals ready to eat, right now are fairly expensive. Being a prepper, I've stocked up on them. I have several cases, whether you get the military style, whether they're the field, the daily rations, or the humanitarian rations that are dropped out of airplanes and helicopters in foreign countries, or you just get canned food. Both come in very handy because your bread's going to get moldy, your meat's going to rot, things like that. But these are shelf stable for long periods of time. So just keep that in mind when you're talking about food preparations. No power, no lights. So what do? You turn to your flashlights, right? And your candles. Well, here's just a few examples. So the first three on the right are LED. The two in the middle are rechargeable. The one on the right side takes batteries. The one on the left is incandescent. That's rechargeable, much dimmer than the first three on the right. Tea lights. A lot of people don't think about tea lights. Ready, available, very cheap, provide light. So make sure you have flashlights. Make sure you have candles. Good source of light, obviously, but make sure you maintain them. Make sure they're readily available. If you know a storm's coming, get them ready. They will last you. They will be effective. They will give you light, and that's what you'll need in the dark. Tools, pliers, screwdrivers, other tools, wrenches, sockets, all that stuff. Always need some type of tools on hand in case of a natural or man-made disaster, because things will need to be repaired. You always have to have tools and sometimes hardware. You'll need hardware. So hardware is important to make repairs, but tools, most importantly. You can reuse hardware, but tools, they're a damn necessity. So what do you go to your big box store, get one of those little quick handy dandy home repair toolkit? Get that if that's all you have. If that's all you can afford, if that's all you can get and store, at least have that. Have tools and hardware. One thing you'll see in these videos is redundancy. So this is fire starting. So we've got two different types of modern lighters. We have an old-fashioned book of matches, and don't forget the magnesium ferro rod type of kit, which is not shown here because all of mine, many of them, are all packed away. You can Google it, but a ferro rod magnesium fire starting system. So redundancy, redundancy, redundancy. One is none, two is one. That's the ideology, so remember that. So always have some method of lighting your candles, lighting your fireplace, your wood stove, whether you're cooking or sanitizing water, making it potable. So you need some means of heat and fire. And that's it. Here's a big one. A lot of people ignore it. You better be prepared for basic and traumatic first aid care. And it does require some training and skill. The best way to do that is to research your way to get trained. You don't need to maintain a current certification for it to work in an emergency, but you do need to know how a lot of these things work. This is basically a gigantic, well, they call it like a jump bag or something like that in the EMS field. That's a BVM, a bag valve mask for CPR, assisting someone to breathe. But this biggin, and I have many of these, all the rest are smaller in my vehicles, but you need some means of first aid, whether it's a standard boo-boo kit, like a Band-Aid, or you need a tourniquet. You need to be prepared, and you need to learn how to use these items. And in this case, this thing has everything in it, and most of my other jump bags in my vehicles do too. They're just a lot smaller. This is the home kit. So a jump bag, got the BVM attached to it or with it. So first aid, very important. Remember that, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, first aid in an emergency is critical. It's life-saving. All right, I'm going to wrap up this video, but I know I'm going to get a lot of comments or complaints or dislikes because I left a lot of things out, and I did that on purpose. I don't want everybody to know what my resources are, what I possess in case of an emergency, whether it's natural or man-made. But couple sidebar endnotes. Ice. Your power goes out, you want to keep your food cool for a period of time while your power's out. These little reusable ice packs, freezer packs, they come with foods that are shipped to your home, or you can go buy them in, say, a camping supply area of your local box store. Pick up a few, save a few if they're shipped to your home, keep them in your freezer, and that will help you save some critical time in preserving perishable foods. So you have that. If not, go outside and grab some snow and throw it in your fridge and freezer. Common sense, people. Pets. Make sure you have meds for your pets ready. If you gotta go and take your pets, and you should take your pets, they rely on you, make sure you have their meds. Make sure you have the meds that they need, or at least an ample supply. They rely on us, so make sure you do that. Pet meds. And your meds too. Pets come first though. Anyway, I hope this very short video was insightful for some people that aren't generally prepared, and you just get some ideas of what you can do to prepare in case of a natural or man-made disaster. So thanks for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.